The Bitcoin bears are about to be extinguished faster than a bottle of wine at a middle-aged woman's multi-level marketing scheme party. And I want to explain why. We just got word of something absolutely massive, and the price of Bitcoin, because of that, has gone up a little bit. Less than 24 hours ago, we heard that our boy, CZ of Binance, one of the strongest troopers in the crypto army, is resigning from Binance and potentially even faces, I believe, up to maybe like 18 months in prison. Again, I think that's, based on everything, it's possible. But less than 24 hours later, we have something massive for Bitcoin. Believe it or not, because of that news, Bitcoin is not down. In fact, at this very second, it's actually up. And so I want to take a look at a few things about why, and I want to reiterate something. Whether Bitcoin dumps $1,000 tomorrow, $5,000 over the next couple days, or whether or not it goes up, all right, this doesn't change anything, because over these next 6 to 12 months, if you would have to summarize what I think is going to happen, how I think these next 6 to 12 months are going to play out, I would summarize it with one word: mega, extremely, giga, ginormously bullish. Just one word. And so if we jump into Bitcoin, clearly something big is happening with Bitcoin, but also with altcoins. And I think altcoins are about to bust, and I think they're about to bust big time. But before we do any analysis, let's take a look at this. So BlackRock has a closed-door meeting with the SEC over a Bitcoin spot ETF. This is big. BlackRock Bitcoin ETF approval very likely, and BlackRock representatives met with the SEC to discuss the possibility of listing a spot Bitcoin ETF. Less than 24 hours after our boy CZ was given the old reach around backdoor treatment, right? It's all part of the plan. And here we have this. Grayscale also met with the SEC and disclosed that it's reached a transfer agency and service agreement with BNY Mellon for its spot Bitcoin ETF. We have Mr. Crypto pointing this out, which is BlackRock meeting with SEC to reveal more details about its spot Bitcoin ETF. You can see the redemption model here. And really, the key takeaway here is that it's very likely, as these Bloomberg analysts, these two guys, James and Eric Balkunas, have been saying for the past couple of months, we're at like over a 95% probability we're about to see a Bitcoin spot ETF approval. And when I say I mean, maybe 10 or so Bitcoin spot ETF approvals within the next 7 weeks. And in fact, it looks like we're seeing more and more of this conversation ramp up just over the last week specifically. And this absolutely will be impacting the price of Bitcoin. So also we have SEC Commissioner Hester Peirce, I believe is how you pronounce it, going on, again, Bloomberg again, saying there's no reason for us to stand in the way of a Bitcoin spot ETF, which is one of the reasons Bitcoin also is reacting positively. There's just every negative narrative around crypto seems to disappear as we get closer and closer to the halving and as the price action develops more and more bullishly, right? It's kind of funny how things like that happen. When the price is like starting a massive dumpy downtrend, it seems like it's only bad news. Guys, we're at the beginning stages of up only. We're at the beginning stages of only bullish pumpage. And it's a very exciting time. That's what we call bull markets, right? And it's actually crazy. A lot of the people that are watching right now, and a lot of the people that are in crypto, like every cycle, a lot of people have not experienced a full bull cycle. They literally catch the end of a bull cycle. And I'll tell you one thing, the end of a bull market versus the beginning of a bull market are two extremely different things, right? Extremely different. And if you're at the beginning stages of a bull market, I'll tell you, in my opinion, it is by far the most exciting. And that's what we're witnessing. So one thing I want to highlight as well is that I posted this just maybe about a half hour ago, a 560 plus day long Ethereum ascending triangle exists where we're right at the top of it basically right now, right around 2100 is the top of this triangle. As today, we received a golden cross with the 50 going above the 200-day moving average. I think Ethereum will do what it does very often, and that's lead altcoin breakouts, lead altcoin season, and overall begin some very, very exciting parts of this bull market. Like I just said, many people have only witnessed, that are watching, have only witnessed like the end of 2021, the end of the last bull cycle. And a lot of people watching might have even bought 40, 50, 60K Bitcoin, and the correlating levels for alts, like similar, their tops. So seeing what we're seeing now, this is going to be exciting for a lot of people. And realistically, the beginning stages of these alt pumps are where the craziest gains happen, obviously. Buying the last 20% pump of an alt is basically not the best way to be investing. So with that, if we actually look at an ETH chart, you can see, we can take away this triangle, but you can see this blue line is the 50-day moving average. This white line is the 200-day. We've just gotten across here for the very first time since February of 2023. And the last time we got this cross, Ethereum increased by about 40% from its price levels. So let's say we got something similar, that would put ETH almost at 3,000. So I'm not saying we will get an exact pump, but all I'm saying is the last time we got a golden cross, we had a pretty nice pump. And if we have a similar sized pump right now, which I personally think it could be even bigger, a 40% pump on ETH as we start a bull market is not really that much. We're not asking for too much here. We could see very big gains, and a $3,000 ETH over the next 1 to 2 months specifically. Well, I think we'll see at least a 3,000 ETH before we get the Bitcoin halving easy, right? I think that Bitcoin should be higher than it is now a month before the halving. I think a lot of these coins have a lot of catching up to do. And ETH usually signals the beginning of altcoin runs. It's very important. Bitcoin gets some value, then Ethereum gets some value, then the top 10 alts, top 15 alts get some value. And then that value kind of disseminates, trickles through a lot of these alts. That is the cycle we have seen over and over and over of how this market moves. Bitcoin, ETH, top alts, baby alts, right? So this is a pretty big signal for today. ETH, I think, ETH absolutely has been lagging lately. ETH recovered earlier in the year quicker than a lot of these other alts. But over the past 2 to 3 months, a lot of other alts have been doing much better than Ethereum. Ethereum is overdue for a move up. And I think a lot of these baby alts as well are going to be following along with ETH though. So with that being said, the stock market, I do want to highlight before we talk about Bitcoin, inching closer and closer to those summer highs around the end of July, right around 4,600. So absolutely going to be watching that. DXY continues its free fall. Today, it's had a little bit of a bounce, but ultimately, I think we could honestly find a bounce here for the DXY for another couple of weeks or so. This is a big level of support that I've had on here for a while. So the DXY, I think, at least has maybe some strength there, but I still believe this is the beginning of a longer-term downtrend for the DXY. So that's important to note. Bitcoin itself as well, gearing up, getting close to its golden cross. However, the difference here is that this is the 50 and 200 week moving averages, not day. Whereas ETH's golden cross is the 50 and 200 day moving average. This is the 50 and 200 week moving average, much more significant. And Bitcoin as well today, actually, right now we're sitting right on top of the 21-day moving average, where we actually bounced today. We've been treading along here for the past week. So as I've been saying, it's possible we get a big breakdown here, which is still bullish. However, Bitcoin is showing a lot of strength at this 21-day moving average. Is it possible maybe we go on and set further highs, whereas the current high is right around 38,000? Is it possible we might have a move over the next week to break that? It's not crazy to say something like that. At the time of me recording, we're only a couple $100 away from that. So, I mean, what percent pump would that even be? That is like another 1%. So yeah, Bitcoin could move another 1% today. It wouldn't be that crazy. A lot of people, I think, are also kind of waiting to see if we can invalidate some sort of double top here, whereas we had this high back on November 9th, and then another high at the exact same level like a week later on the 15th and 16th, right at about 38,000. So if we have another attempt of 38, that could be pretty big. Has not happened at this very second, and I still believe that Bitcoin will have that retest at some point, but we're getting very, very bullish news here. And you can't discount how bullish a lot of this news is. So really, I think that if you're not, I think most people at this point have, even the most bearish people, I think even the most bearish people have to understand now, hey, I mean, it's a pretty big long shot for us to end up getting another giant dump. It's a gigantic long shot that we'll ever see 20K again. And 10K, come on, I mean, that's a lot of bad things would have to go just tragically wrong. I think it's unlikely. Again, I will never say never. I will always say anything is technically possible. But man, the chances here, the risk to reward here is just insanely lopsided. And here we are. I mean, ask your phone right now, how many days until April 20th? Blaze it. How many days until April 20th, which is about a week or so before the expected Bitcoin halving, the fourth Bitcoin halving. That's how close we are to this Bitcoin halving. And as you all know, this is the Bitcoin halving right here, right around the last week of April. We only have a couple more months to go. You see what happens on Bitcoin dominance in the past. And if you look in the past, you can see Bitcoin absolutely starts busting massively after the halving, and a lot of times into the halving as well. It's a very bullish time. And now, as I said yesterday, people like Larry Fink at BlackRock absolutely want to be the people that are selling you the crypto. They don't want, and this is in my opinion why CZ is gone. They don't want CZ making all those fees, all those yummy gummy fees off of us as we're buying, selling, trading cryptos during this next bull market. CZ has literally made billions of dollars doing that. Larry Fink at BlackRock and all of these other Bitcoin spot ETF applicants do not want that to happen again. They want to be the ones gobbling up these fees, right? And I think they will be. I think they will be gobbling up these fees and selling you that Bitcoin. And if they know how much money is going to be made, it's going to be big. It's going to be exciting. It is going to be, man, potentially the biggest bull run in the history of mankind. And take advantage of massive sign up and deposit bonuses if you're interested in buying altcoins, trading them. A bunch of specific altcoins are available with my link to Femex and BitGet below if you're interested. Takes 30 seconds to sign up. And without any further ado, that's it for me.